Hilton's first Spark Hotel was not newly built. It was a converted 120-room Days Inn in Mystic, Connecticut. The launch began with an existing building, not a construction site. Hilton announced Spark in January 2023 as its 19th brand and first premium economy offering. The concept was designed primarily for converting similar existing hotel buildings, rather than creating every property from scratch. The conversion model had a defined physical scope, minimalist decor, and overhauled lobbies. Hilton estimated the investment at $20,000 to $25,000 per room, giving owners a clear renovation framework. The first opening came in September 2023 when the Mystic property opened as Spark's first hotel. Its 120 rooms came from the former Days Inn in Connecticut. Hilton then positioned Spark for secondary and tertiary markets where its presence was limited. Conversion let the brand pursue those locations through existing hotel buildings instead of relying only on new construction. Nintendo sold cheaper N and B blocks as a direct LEGO competitor and still won LEGO's patent lawsuit. The blocks were compatible with LEGO bricks, yet the legal outcome turned on a detail hidden underneath a small piece. Nintendo launched N and B Block in 1968 during its expansion into toys. It released more than 40 sets, positioning the product directly against LEGO. The compatible bricks connected differently. N and B Block used a distinct underside tubing design. That mechanical difference let Nintendo win the lawsuit over alleged patent violation. Matching LEGO's basic function did not make the underside construction identical. The sets also used round and cylindrical pieces, unusual for LEGO at the time. Nintendo used lower quality plastic to keep prices below LEGO's. That lower price made the sets accessible to children who could not afford LEGO sets. Production ended in 1972, though the public reason is unknown. Decades later, LEGO and Nintendo collaborated on LEGO Super Mario, launched in 2020. Before air conditioning, one Connecticut chocolate maker changed the clock. In summer, confectionery was made at night, then sold door-to-door at dawn. This happened during the summers of the 1920s when U.S. manufacturers lacked air conditioning technology. Heat was an equipment constraint, not merely a comfort issue. Chocolate production had expanded as 19th-century technology enabled larger-scale manufacturing. The industry had moved beyond small producers. The manufacturer made the confectionery only at night during cooler hours. Production ended before the morning selling round began. The finished products then went directly to households. Sellers took them door-to-door in the early morning, turning distribution into a timed handoff. That timing also matched chocolate's expanding market. It was becoming an impulse purchase, not just a planned gift or seasonal item. It could be eaten as a snack. A nighttime factory shift could therefore end with fresh confectionery in morning hands. In the 1990s, a developer tried to buy Kansas City's New York Life building, but it was unclear who owned the historic property. That question involved a major downtown asset. Opened in August 1889, the building was Kansas City's tallest and first with elevators. Its interior held 200,000 square feet and roughly 400 rooms. Ownership had shifted from New York Life to Granthurst Realty, then to Stanley J. Bushman in 1981. The conversion was intended to create apartments, but work stalled after interior demolition. A later apartment conversion stalled, leaving the building abandoned for much of the 1990s. Udemy Corp renovated the structure and moved its downtown headquarters inside in 1996. The project turned an empty landmark back into occupied office space. After Aquila moved out in 2007, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Kansas City St. Joseph bought the building in 2010. It became administrative offices, giving the landmark another working use. Seattle's King once fought KONG in the local television market. They eventually became co-owned stations, sharing one Seattle complex. King began as KRSC-TV on November 25, 1948, becoming the Pacific Northwest's first television station. That early broadcast gave the station a regional starting point. It went on air under a different name before the later King identity took hold. In May 1949, King Broadcasting Company bought the station for $375,000 and renamed it King TV. On September 27, 1959, King became an exclusive NBC affiliate, strengthening its flagship position. In 2015, Gannett confirmed that King, KONG, and Northwest Cable News would move into the lower 3 floors of Seattle's Home Plate Center in SoDo. The move concentrated television operations in one facility. A street-side studio was planned for King's news programming. King's former South Lake Union headquarters sold for nearly $50 million. It was demolished in 2016, clearing the site for mixed-use redevelopment. Javier Gomez became Valencia CF's president on June 5, 2009, but held the top job for only 48 hours. His presidency was a handover, not a long-term appointment. That brief role followed a decade inside the club. Gomez joined Valencia in 1999 and spent his first 9 years as financial director. On July 25, 2008, he became general manager, placing him inside the club's operating leadership. The trigger was Vicente Soriano's resignation. After Soriano presented it as irrevocable, Gomez became temporary president on June 5, 2009, while authority moved toward Manuel Laurent. The transition lasted 48 hours. Manuel Laurent then assumed the presidency, ending Gomez's short interim tenure and completing the change in leadership. Gomez later moved from club administration to La Liga. In 2013, he helped implement economic control, a system for monitoring clubs' finances. The 2-day presidency became one step in a longer operational career. Sega sued Alca over copied Frogger machines in February 1982, even though Alca's major distributor was linked to former Sega founder Martin Bromley. Alca was liquidated 6 months later. Founded in 1967, Alca moved from electromechanical arcade games into video games. It sold licensed products but also unlicensed versions, including Ping Pong based on Atari's Pong. Other examples included Scramble as Bomber and Rally X as Road Runner. Bromley purchased a 2/3 stake in Alca's distributor-linked company in 1972. After his assets were frozen in a VAT tax fraud case, sales through PRW, Alca's major distributor, ended. By November 1981, Alca was selling machines at lowered prices to keep cash flowing. Sega's European division sued over Frogger in February 1982, adding legal costs to the squeeze. With sales gone, cash flow problems growing, and the lawsuit underway, Bromley declined additional funding. Alca was liquidated in August 1982. A Tennessee bakery founded in 1902 survived fire, war, and the Great Depression, then renamed its signature fruitcake Russian Christmas cake to reach younger customers. John Bagentos started it in Tracy City with Swiss baking traditions and handwritten recipes that became the operating foundation for the family business. The recipes were passed to his sons in a large handwritten notebook. A fire destroyed much of the original building in the early 1920s, but the family rebuilt with brick. When the sons went to war, women ran the bakery. The bakery continued using original equipment after rebuilding. Later, Cindy Day acquired the business and kept wooden proofing cabinets and early 20th century bread tins in use. She also added artisan breads and updated traditional recipes. The longtime fruitcake became Russian Christmas cake, changing its presentation without discarding the bakery's identity. Dutch Maid still operates in its original location.